Well, hi again, once again, everybody. Steve Lloyd-Jones and head coach Scott Wooster alongside as we've got a game to look forward to this week. This is a great feeling, Coach.
Yes. It's been a while.
Double bye here through the last couple of weeks, but we got football once again, not only to look forward to, we got something to talk about from over the weekend for you, the exhibition game where freshmen and redshirt freshmen played. Get your thoughts on that, and then who we're going to talk with tonight.
Yeah, tonight, this will be a great one. Laker alum, wore the blue and the black, Coach Scott Cooper. He's our tight ends coach. He's also what we term as our director of player personnel, but does an incredible job linking our guys to the Laker Academic Success Center, and just it does a ton for our guys in that support role in terms of being that intermediary, making sure everything's set for their next 50 years, and he's done just an absolutely incredible job. We just got our Week 4 progress reports back, 181 A's and B's on that list. So,
wow.
Now there's some on the other end. We won't talk about that, right? But quite a bit different than in semesters past. And since he's been in this role, our GPA is creeping up, semester by semester. And then, just the tangible piece of eligibility and progress towards degree. And we only had one guy from last year ineligible for this year. So does an awesome job with our tight ends. You saw Furtney went last time we were home, had a big game.
Yeah.
Harry Younger's been playing at an extremely high level. He's gotten Drake Deshetsky, who's a guy we took over at the end of camp, and he's playing at a very, very high level for us. Brett Peterson's back, but does a great job with our tight ends, and then really dominates this other role that probably in the grand scheme of things is more important to our guys than the game of football in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
And then Luke Stanton will be our player. He's another guy. He's loves Laker football, man. He's been around, been through it, been through a position change, on all those things. So he's just kind of one of those guys that's hanged and banged around here, and just just one of those guys that loves the blue and the black, and so it'll be great to talk to him tonight.
That's right. So Scott Cooper, Luke Stanton going to be with us here at the Main Street Pub in Allendale. At the end of the show, of course, we're going to look forward to the Crosstown Showdown, give you a preview of Grand Valley against the Davenport Panthers. That's going to be a 4 o'clock kickoff. Both teams 2-1, and that'll be great to have Grand Valley back in action and the first league contest as well. So that's all ahead for you as the GVSU Football Weekly Report gets started right here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Great to have you along tonight, talking Laker football, coming off a weekend where an exhibition game was played, and then ahead to Saturday afternoon's Family Day celebration. Going to be great to have the Lakers back in action. And of course, at home, starting league play, all of that. That'll be later on in the show. But the exhibition game this past Sunday, as Grand Valley took on Detroit Christian College, won that one 64-18. And this review of that game brought to you in part by Nawara Brothers Home Store, bringing you top name brands at low prices, and by Earhart Construction, the official construction company of the Grand Valley Sports Network. So, Coach, give us a little brief overview. How did this come about? Because it's a little bit of a different thing than most years. And then what did you think of it? What are the takeaways?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Stephen. It started just kind of a crazy idea. We were going through it scheduling-wise, and we get into May, and we don't have that 11th game yet, and we thought we had the 11th game. And the range of emotions that week, I was on the road recruiting on the east side, and we thought we had New Haven. Gentleman's agreement, agreement over the phone for week 3. Well, Saginaw opens up, they drop us, they take Saginaw, so that one's gone. And I won't get into the whole thing behind New Haven, but then we say, well, let's play week 4, and contract goes out, it gets signed, DocuSign. I'm sitting eating dinner. It's long days on the road, probably 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, yeah. And I get the confirmation that we've got the 11th game, and just so excited about it.
Right.
And then 3 days later, they bailed, right?
Okay.
They bailed and didn't want to play us and all those things. So, at that point, I called every single NAI that was open, every single D3, every single FCS. There was a group of 5. Every D2 was exhausted at that point, and we said, we got to play. And, the fluidity of college football right now with the portal and everything else, we're playing younger and younger guys, and our roster is going to be younger. So, I knew back in the day, like Ashland and some of those D2s played JV games. So we said, hey, why don't we look at this and try it? And I was still on the road, and a mutual coaching friend of mine, guy that spent a lot of time at Wayne State with Jeff Reardon, started up this JUCO that we talked about last week. Mm-hmm. Called him, talked to him about it, and he was all in. So that's kind of how it all started, yeah. And then how it went, right? I think the first coolest part about it for me, I always used to use the line because I, former high school football coach, that if somebody, the ball was fumbling around and everything else, I'm like, this ain't the JV, right? Right. Yeah, that was always my line. Well, we had a JV, so for a week I said, well, this is the JV.
This is the JV.
Right? So,
yeah.
And then now it's really cool because now I can double down on that line because we actually played a JV game. Like if somebody's screwing around or the ball's fumbling around, it looks like a JV. The JV played Sunday. This is college football. So, but it went incredible. I mean, all the things that we were after that happened, and the development. What we talked about, the development of the staff. Coach Olson, Coach Postma called the offense and defense. The development of the players. They got in the game week, and then they got to go play, turn on the lights. There's people there. It feels like a game day. Our operations, our facilities, everybody. It's just attitude of gratitude because they rolled it out just like a game. So for CCC, they don't get to play in that environment. Mm-hmm. For our young guys, they get to feel that environment and see what the future is going to be like. And that all those things were so cool. And then I think the thing that really hit me was particularly special teams, right? Typically you practice special teams and you try to do it situationally, but it's difficult to simulate. Well, it got simulated. And, guys, after we score, we kick off. Remember that in high school? So if you're on kickoff team, get down with Coach Sutter. Here we go, right? Yeah. Punt team, punt return, all those things. But the coolest part was we get into halftime, and it was a 2-score game at halftime, and there was a lot of opportunity out there. But we get into halftime, and I said, all right, guys, you good now? You got that all behind you? Let's go play, right? Yeah. Let's go play ball. You've done the hard thing. Most of those guys are scout teams for us, so on the scout teams for us, so they're going against our first offense, our first defense, the very best in the country. That's hard. This is fun. Go play. And you could just see the difference in the second half. Like they let out that exhale, and we started playing ball, and that was really, really cool. And I think the final thing I'll say is, in terms of, take the head coach hat on, put the general manager hat on for a second, what an edge in recruiting now. We've got 33 guys committed for the class of 2026, but we know now what those guys look like under the bright lights.
Oh, I
right?
see.
And I got two guys in mind that I was a little worried about through fall camp, right? And hey, we're about development, all those things, but I was a little worried about. And then they go out on Sunday night on the bright lights and just ball out, and they have a great game, right? And there's a couple guys I was really, really high on that maybe didn't, so okay, let's press a little bit more here recruiting this position, but this position I feel much more confident now than previous to Sunday. So there's just so many things that we've got out of that, and our guys got out of that, and maybe something we're going to play we're going to have a bye week 4 next year, that we continue with this, because it was such a positive experience for our guys and such an edge in development, recruiting, and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Individually, can you point to some guys or maybe, I don't want to say just stats, but who individually stood out and what for?
Well, quarterback-centric, right? That's where it starts. And Ethan Plum, I thought, played exceptionally well. And, especially for, you don't get the reps that you normally would. Leading up to that, we had about a week and a half to prepare them really for a game. And I thought he did an exceptional job. And all the way across the board, obviously, Colin Osby did a great job, and you saw some big runs by him, and he was a guy that we were excited about. I thought the offensive line played very, very well for, again, limited opportunities to play together in our offense like that. A couple guys flashed. Jordan Jackson's been a great guy, done a great job on scout team. He gets a big sack. Chris Little, we laugh about it. He gets his hands on a football all the time in practice, and he intercepted the 2-point play. So, I could go up and down the list. There's, a bunch of guys that really took advantage of that opportunity. So very excited about the future of Grand Valley State. And, again, recruiting edge, here's a junior college in our state that doing a great job in recruiting. Coach Verdon's doing a great job. There's 3 or 4 guys on that CCC team that, caught our eye too, and looked really good under the bright lights of Lever Stadium. So might have a conversation, start some conversations with them after this season as well.
Yeah, I want to point out our performance of the week, offense, defense here, presented by Trinity Health. Offense, Kyle Osby, as you say, 14 carries, 164 yards. Benji Allen for the defense. He stood out.
Benji was, and that's what he's been in camp. And for our scout team, we're a little bit short. We had a couple injuries at defensive end, and here's a linebacker playing defensive end against Brett Weaver and Evan Curtis on all our offensive tackles, and he's a throwback player, but his size, his range, his speed, it showed up. I thought Isaac Poot was another guy in the linebacking core that played extremely well. Really, really fired up about Benji, because he's got it. He's got the frame, the size. He's got the range. He loves the physicality. He's a violent kid, and he's got great instincts, and he's extremely coachable. Coach Lewis can't say enough about him in camp, just the progress he made in those 2 weeks of camp, those 15 practices. So, some excitement there.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Noah Ori, the other quarterback, he took off on a run. You can go on and on with the performance. I thought the tight end group, Brinks, Ty Brinks from right down the road here, South Christian, he catches one, and the acceleration he had coming out of that break. So a lot of guys performed, at a level that was, maybe a little surprising, even to us a little bit. We've been seeing them in camp and in practice.
Well, there's no question competence will fuel confidence. What do you feel like the confidence for those young guys? What do they get out of that from a confidence standpoint?
No, and I think we saw it a little bit this week in terms of our scout preparation, for Davenport is particularly our scout offense against our defense. Coach Roncelli coaches them up, and they were juiced today, and they were rolling and popped a couple runs, got a couple balls over the top of our defense. So I think there is that, you just said it, confidence breeds confidence, and that's where it's born from. And, hey, we did this in Lubbers Stadium. I don't care who you are, right? Yeah. Starting defense, we're going to go get after you too. And so I think that definitely, just the spark of, hey, this is what I'm doing it for too, right? To play, these games. So haven't done that in a long, long time at Grand Valley State. And, like we said, way back to the GRCC days of when Grand Valley College at the time was, in its infancy. But I think it might be something we want to get going again here.
Yeah, useful. That's got to be a neat moment as a coach when you, I don't know the phrase, I guess light bulb goes on. A young player, when they recognize or get a glimpse of how good they can be. And you see that and they see that, and it's like, that's got to be special.
Well, and, the belief piece of it, right? I think sometimes as a coach, you believe in them more than they believe in themselves, right? And then when it's a light bulb moment, right? But when that belief clicks, or that technique or that fundamental clicks, I mean, that's one of the best feelings. That's why we do it, right? Coach from point A to point B, well, they hit that point B. That's one of the awesome feelings. Or when you see a guy in 5 to 10 years after he graduates, and he's found a passion, he knows exactly what he wants to do, or introduces you to his wife, or invites you to a wedding. Like, those are the things that we do this for. And you spend all the long hours and everything else, but that's what it's all about.
Well, it was a great night there as Grand Valley, the exhibition game, freshmen and redshirt freshmen playing in that. They downed Detroit Christian College, 64-18 the final in that. And, of course, now the rest of the week here, getting ready for Davenport. That'll be Saturday's opponent, 4 o'clock, the kick. When we come back, we're going to talk about tight end play, the academic center, and how that all works with Scott Cooper. That's going to be fun.
No, absolutely. And in the open, talked about Coach Cooper's role and his impact and his value and how he dominates his role both on the field and then off the field, and what an asset he is to Grand Valley State and Grand Valley State football, and to our guys, what a resource he is. But this one's special too, because I coached Coach Cooper when I was the offense line tight ends coach, and just the same way he attacked being a player is the exact same way he's attacking being a coach. And it's just cool. It's awesome to see the development, right? And as a coach, you're graded. Your competency is on display, right? Every Saturday afternoon, it's on the videotape, and his tight end play it reflects that, right? There's the competency is reflected. The job you do is on display, and he does a great job, because you turn on the videotape and his guys are, number one, they're aligned, they know the assignment, they execute the assignment, and they play really, really hard. And the coolest thing is they play together, right? And that's been who he is as a person, and who he is as a coach.
That's right. Scott Cooper coming up next. We'll talk with him as the GVSU Football Weekly Report, presented by Berger Chevrolet, continues here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. We are live inside the Main Street Pub here in Allendale. Steve Lloyd-Jones back with you. Great to have you with us. Grand Valley playing this Saturday afternoon in Allendale against Davenport. It's the Crosstown Showdown. The Panthers 2-1. Grand Valley also 2-1. Our assistant coach perspective now presented by Fast Signs of Grand Rapids. And great to talk once again with tight ends coach Scott Cooper. He's also the director of player personnel on handling academic side of things. And good to see you again, Scott. Thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate you guys having me on. Great to be back.
So, again, what I like to do when we hear the title, put that into practice for us. What does that look like on a daily basis? Player personnel and tight ends coach.
Yeah, so tight ends coach, pretty self-explanatory.
Right.
Making sure the tight ends know how to line up and know what to do. And the best part about the tight end position, especially in our offense, from a skill perspective, we pretty much do every job you can think of besides throwing the football, which is still on the table potentially. We'll see.
You lobbying for that?
Maybe. We got some guys that can throw it now. But that's the most fun part about playing and coaching the position is we do a little bit of everything. So it's really fun to attack every day, and you get to teach new things every week, new skills, and it's just it encompasses what football is all about, doing it all. And the most fun things in football are run blocking and scoring touchdowns. So those are the two things we do the most. So.
Yeah.
And then the player personnel thing, for me, really, really entails making sure our guys are squared up academically, helping them set up appointments with our support staff, helping them with their schedules, helping them contact professors when they need to send an email, and just helping them kind of, present themselves in a professional manner and navigate being a college student athlete. And I played here as well, so I know exactly what it's like to be a GV football player, the challenges that come with that. So. The academic thing is my main role in that personnel role, but also just, being a guy they can relate to, being a guy they can ask about, navigating life as a college athlete, and then helping them out around the building. I'm also the former director of football operations, so, I kind of got my hands in every part of everything we do. So just helping those guys out any way I can, being a guy they can really look up to and relate to, kind of see myself as a big brother figure for the guys in the locker room.
That's great. Tight ends coach Scott Cooper with us, of course, director of player personnel. We get to see players, their progress on the field.
Yes.
We see it athletically. You see that, of course, but you see the academic side. What's that like when you see a guy, maybe he doesn't come from a greatest background, but yet he grabs a hold of an opportunity, he works hard, and then he's excited about what that means for him. What's that like?
Yeah, it's just as, if not more, exciting to see them do those things off the field, because we all know they came here to play football and they love football. So there's a little bit of an expectation when it comes to on the field, but in the classroom and off the field stuff, it's almost a little bit even more rewarding to see them take that turn. Like a guy I can think of right now, it's no coincidence he's playing really good football right now, but he's also grown a lot off the field. Is Sean Bird from an academic standpoint. He's done really, really well, grown a lot, and just grown a lot as a person. So guys like that, it's really, really rewarding and fun to see them kind of just take life by the reins and dictate the terms of where they want to go with their life.
Well, you and I always talk about how intelligent tight ends have to be, how versatile you have to be. You got to know the passing routes. You got to know the run concepts. You got to know the blocking that's going to be done in a play.
Yep.
Now, I didn't play, so maybe this is a dumb question, but for you guys, when you're shifting around and blocking schemes, is it significant when you go from a left-handed quarterback to when you'll switch to a right-hander in a game? Does that affect you guys much?
For us, the tight end position, not quite so much, because in pass protection, we have to protect on the left and the right side. So no matter what the quarterback's blind side is, we're going to be on his blind side at some point.
Okay.
But with the amount of moving we do, we're protecting him all angles. The only really thing that really makes a difference is like sprint out protection. Obviously you have a left-handed quarterback or a right-handed quarterback. Sometimes it's easier to sprint out to the left or to the right. But for us, the job is all the same. So it doesn't affect us too much. Like I said, we don't play tackle, so again, that blind side factor, we just always assume we're on the blind side, and that's the urgency we need to get our job done.
No, that's for sure. For those maybe who aren't aware, Andrew Schuster for Grand Valley left-handed is the starting quarterback, and then Brady Drogosh, who comes in, he's right-handed, and he'll come into the game at different points. Help me out when you're talking about blocking, let's say pass rushing. Is it harder? I'm sure it's player dependent on who you're going against, but is it harder to block a guy in pass protection, a really good defensive end, or a guy who's more off the ball, he's going to blitz in and you're trying to pick him up? What would be more schematically tougher?
Really depends on who you are as a player. Guys like Evan Fernie really have no problem blocking DNs because they're built like tackles. He's got long arms. He's rangy.
He's a big guy.
He can get hands into somebody's chest before they get their hands into his chest. In my experience, it is harder picking up that blitzer coming in full speed. We're doing some things in protection that our running backs also do. That's really, really difficult. Being that extra guy in a slide protection and being able to pick up pressures. So it really kind of depends on who you are and which tight end you ask, right? For me personally, it was probably blocking DNs because I wasn't as tall or had long as arms as some of the guys I'm coaching now.
Okay.
But guys like Gavin Kasu, guys like Evan Fertney, they can handle DNs no problem. So it really is a situational thing that can vary from guy to guy.
Well, we'll talk some specific names here, talking with tight end coach Scott Cooper. But you had said off air, this was one of the deepest years that the tight end position has had in a while at Grand Valley.
Definitely.
Just in terms of depth.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm really, really proud of the guys in this room because, Gavin Kasu was a mainstay in our offense the last few years, and so was Drew Peterson. And those guys played at an extremely high level, great athletes, phenomenal players. When they graduated last year, there were some, sleepless nights for me, wondering how am I going to replace these guys and the work we got to get done. Really thankful that we didn't go to the portal because I knew it was in there. The talent, the ability was in the room, just needed to be developed and needed to grow. And since spring ball, 4 or 5 guys have really, really, really stepped up. Obviously, Evan Fertney, we knew what he could do the second he walked in here. His first spring ball in 2023 was really, really good, and his fall camp in 2023 was really, really good. Just had some unfortunate injuries, hasn't been able to, stay healthy throughout the season. Same thing happened last year. But he's been a guy that we knew he could really play football, and if he was healthy, he was going to be a part of our plans. Came back in the spring, about halfway through the spring, and we instantly changed as an offense when we got him back. So we knew how important he was going to be this year. And he's a guy I've had to kind of load manage a little bit and pick my spots with him just because, he's been so valuable for us. I've had to really work hard to just keep him protected and keep him out there when we need him the most. And another guy that, was really good for us last year, a very dependable backup, Harrison Unger. He's really taken the reins as kind of the bell cow this year. He's played the most snaps at tight end. And he moved from defensive end to tight end in spring 2023 as well. So him and Fernie kind of joined the team in the tight end room at the same time. And he was really good from day one as well. And now he's just, seeing the fruits of his labor. He's really taken over for us and done a phenomenal job as our leader. And then a few other guys, obviously here tonight, Luke Stanton, huge development this fall camp. Had an awesome camp. And is a guy that I really, really trust. He can help us in a lot of situations and as a really, really highly trusted backup kind of role. Brett Peterson just came back from injury this week. He's going to be a big part of us moving forward. Drake Deshetsky, we moved him from linebacker to tight end in the middle of camp. And he's kind of been that tight end fullback hybrid guy for us, and he's done a phenomenal job in his role. He's going to keep doing a phenomenal job in his role. Been producing at an extremely high level, really, really smart, and he's just a football player. You see him out there on the field, he's just a natural football player, has a lot of feel for the game. And then Colin Buchanan, he's a young guy, sophomore, came in really, really skinny, probably 6'6", like 200 pounds, and now he's 245 pounds, and he's a huge piece of our future. Very talented kid, and he's worked his butt off to become a legit college tight end, and he has a huge future for us. And then there's a few more young guys in the wings that are waiting too that have a lot of talent, and obviously the freshman class that played in that JV game on Sunday, super talented. Ty Brinks, Sean Bailey. I know we already talked about Brinks, but he's from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Huge future for him. Sean Bailey, a kid from Detroit, extremely talented. And Gibby Connolly from Granville, another West Michigan guy. He's really, really exciting too.
Wow, a lot of guys for you to keep track of in just the tight end room,
no doubt.
But also overall as your role of Director of Player Personnel for the academic side of things. Great job, as always, and Scott, good catching up with you. Thank you.
Appreciate you having me on.
All right, take care. That's Scott Cooper for you, the tight ends coach for the Lakers. We'll talk with the tight end. Luke Stanton is coming up next, as actually I think you're going to talk with him, aren't you? All right, so we'll keep Scott around and stay with us. Back with plenty more of the GVSU Football Weekly Report here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Thanks for staying with us tonight. Our guest player interview segment for you now, brought to you in part by Radco Apparel. Be proud to show off your brand, and by Flow Sports, where you can watch the GVSU Lakers all season long. Steve Lloyd-Jones continuing with tight ends coach Scott Cooper, and we've got tight end Luke Stanton with us as well, as Scott's going to talk with him. Reminder coming up Saturday, that's a 4 o'clock kick for Davenport. That is going to be a huge crowd. There will be a lot of people. Leave a little extra time for your travel and getting settled into to be able to watch the game. That's just a friendly, helpful little tip learned through experience. It's family day. You will need a little bit of extra time to work with. All right, let's get over to Luke Stanton here with Scott Cooper. Scott?
All right, how's it going? Luke, just got a few rapid-fire interview questions for you. So, ready?
Let's roll.
All right. So, you were class of 2020, correct?
Yep.
Last man standing on the football team from the class of 2020, right?
Yes, sir.
Been here for a while. Obviously, I've played with you. Been a joy to coach you, especially this year with your growth that you've shown. So it's just been a blast getting to know you, and now kind of getting to lead you as a coach. But back to your high school days. Obviously, you were a really, really high-level football player on the high school level from Brighton, Michigan. Why Grand Valley? What really drew you to GVSU?
Yeah, I think at the time, he's not here anymore, but the running backs coach, his name was Isaac Mooring.
Oh, yeah.
He was recruiting me. I grew a really good relationship with him. I really like Coach Mitch. And from Brighton, you either go, like the regular students, most of them either go to Michigan State or they go to Grand Valley.
Yep.
So I remember Coach Moore hit me up, and he called me, offered me, and I think just from the second he offered me, I kind of knew I was going to GV. I just loved it. I came on my visit, loved everything here. I meant to commit in my meeting with Coach Mitch, but I got a little scared, so I did it on the phone later on. But.
Awesome. So now, besides the Grand Valley State Lakers, your favorite football team, college or pro, and why?
The Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I grew up a Michigan fan, and they won the national championship a couple years ago, and I just love Michigan football. I love Michigan athletics. If I could have gone anywhere, I probably would have gone to Michigan, but GV. But yeah, the Wolverines, baby.
All right. So your favorite football player could be college or pro, and then your favorite athlete. If it's the same guy for both, that's fine. But if you got another athlete that's non-football, you can name them as well.
My favorite football player, I don't know. Probably I don't really watch much like NFL football, so it's not like an NFL guy. But college-wise, I remember I really liked Jabril Peppers when he was at Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
I loved watching him play, and then Aiden Hutchinson too, back when I played D-end. But my favorite athlete is probably Conor McGregor. Just his attitude, the way he went about his life.
I can see that.
So yeah.
Who's your favorite tight end?
My favorite tight end? Brock Bowers. He's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like watching him play football.
Yeah, he's an awesome player for sure. I think you might be a candidate for this, but funniest person on the team besides yourself?
I might have to go with Harry Younger.
Yeah.
That's my go-to. I am with him every single day, so I kind of see the outside of the football stuff. But even on the team, he's just around the locker room and all that. He's a funny guy. He's always cracking jokes, making people laugh. He's always got something to say.
Yeah, definitely got some candidates in the tight end room for that one. In terms of what you want to do with your life, your career path, what's your major at GVSU, and then post football, what are your plans? What's your passion? What are you looking to do for the rest of your life?
Yeah, so December I'll graduate with a sports management degree. I'd love to coach football. I'd also love to just be around football, an athletic director, like other than football wise. That would be something I'd like to do. And then my dad always told me I'd be a good salesman, so maybe I'll go sell insurance or something.
Yeah, I think you'd kill it for sure. Favorite part about playing the tight end position, and I think this is a great question to ask you because you spent a lot of time playing DN, so maybe dive into the differences between being a defensive player and being an offensive player, and then particularly the tight end position. What do you like the most about it?
Yeah, well, the first thing I realized after I made the switch to tight end was it's lesser of, or I won't say a lesser of a load on the body, but it's just a different load.
Yeah, no doubt.
Playing to crush DN, that was pretty taxing. You got to be about 255, 260 to really make it work, but the difference, for me would just be it's more fun in a sense. They're different funs. Like hitting the quarterback's fun, but also, blocking and running routes and the just the execution when you do that, and there's more you can do good at on the offensive side, in my opinion, and it's just more rewarding in that sense. Like you feel like you did a good job, and it's more fun too. Everybody wants to score touchdowns, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I agree wholeheartedly. Well, one more question for you, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Who's your favorite musical artist?
Probably Juice WRLD. Go-to Juice WRLD, or that'd be my go-to.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. All right, so I'll wrap up this interview segment and hand it over to Steve.
Appreciate you.
All right, Luke, great to have you on the show tonight. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Luke Stanton, tight end for Grand Valley, our player interview for you tonight. Coming up next, Scott Wooster will rejoin me as we're going to talk about Davenport. The Panthers also 2-1. It's the Crosstown Showdown coming up Saturday afternoon in Allendale on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Coach Scott Wooster is Grand Valley getting set for their first conference game coming up. GLIAC action on Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock kick. The Crosstown Showdown, the Lakers against Davenport. Both teams 2-1. Davenport having played already a game in conference. They were at Northern Michigan and won in that one, so up in Marquette. And coming in here, the Crosstown Showdown, you've been able to get on the winning side of these games. That doesn't mean it's easy. They're always a good opponent in all three phases.
Oh, no question. And, do it a little bit differently than we do it in terms of roster building and all that kind, but does a tremendous job. Coach McEwen, a couple years ago in the playoffs, probably right on that cusp a year ago, and you can kind of see that from this football team. On the offensive side of the football, extremely talented quarterback, SEC, right? And not just an SEC offer guy. He was at Georgia, extremely talented. They really bolstered that backfield, sub one Harris for the other.
Yeah, Cephas Harris now.
Yeah, so Myron Harris graduates, and then Cephas Harris's little brother's in there. He's a transfer from Youngstown State, and he's been extremely productive. Really liked him as a high school football player, and now seeing what he's doing. They've got transfer wide receiver Keontae Nixon on the outside. A really good skill set. So, yeah, they present some issues with from the talent perspective on the offensive side of the football. Some dynamic players. And then defensively, I think they hired Kenny Ray Augustus, a defensive line coach this winter. And I am just so impressed about the job he's done in the short amount of time he's been there with that defensive line. Again, you are what you put on tape, right?
Yeah.
As a player and as a coach. You are what your guys you coach put on tape, right? And what I'm seeing through these 3 weeks is they're putting a great product on tape, as well coached as guys I've seen in a while, and 2 really talented linebackers, skilled in the back end of the defense. It's special teams as well, balanced, fundamental technique. They're very, you can tell, well coached in that regard.
They're going to come in here, as they have every time, hungry, but I think especially hungry because they've had 9 straight quarters. They haven't scored here, so it's been a little bit before points have been on the board. And they know how close they've been with Grand Valley. Yeah. I mean, they're right there. When you're coming off 2 weeks where you haven't played and you're going to face that kind of emotion, I know they didn't play last week either, but that's tough, isn't it, to try to match that?
No, and there's, the balance of, right, like, again, and we've been talking about this, been playing extremely hard but haven't been playing exactly smart yet, right? And I think that's going to be a little bit of the challenge of the pent-up aggression, so to speak, of not playing for 2 weeks. And it feels almost like an opener again in that regard. We were talking about when we were playing Lincoln. Now this is a very, very different opponent than Lincoln, right? Oh, yeah. And coming off of 2 weeks, so that hunger, that pent-up aggression, those type of things, that we talked about in season openers of penalties and turnovers and those type of things, that we've got to be very cognizant of and, control of those emotions, right? A big part of that is playing within ourselves, playing again the smart football, but falling to the level of our training. And we've talked about that. You go back to the Pitt State game. I think there were some guys, Sean Birdsine, Uzma Harper, Riley Simpson, Anthony Cardamone. A bunch of guys fell to the level of their training and played phenomenal football.
Sure did.
Some other guys, right, tried to reach a little bit, especially when we got behind, and that's a trend that we've had for a while here, and that's something that we got to continue to grow and get better at, and this will be an awesome test coming off the bye, like you're saying.
Yeah, you've had a couple of weeks to kind of look at everything, dig deep into stats and techniques and all of that. I know you don't want to get too specific. What is there a stat? If I said one stat you want to see improved, what would be like top of your list?
Steve, running the football.
Yeah. Okay.
135 yards in 2 games. Not a quarter, not a half, not a game. 2 games. Right. 2 games we rushed for 135 yards.
So that's got to get better.
That has to change. Has to. Sorry about that. We got some levels.
No, you're good.
You asked the question, Steve.
I love the passion.
You asked the question.
I love the passion. It's good.
I already I can't squeeze my hand because I've already punched the table about that very, very, very same issue today, so I won't. But no, that can't. That can't be. That cannot be. This is Grand Valley State. This is, I am the head coach. Like, that cannot happen.
All right, so that's the area that would be top of the list. How about number 2? Is there a close 2?
Hits on the quarterback.
Hits on the quarterback.
But the offsides, the 5-yard penalties. I think that was, something that hurt us extremely bad in that Pitt State game, and that was something. It's the 5s and the 15s, and there's penalties of aggression, holding, DPI. There's going to be some of those penalties that you're good with, and we've talked about this in the past, right? That you're playing hard, you're fighting like crazy, and you're going to get a flag here or there. But the 5s are completely within our control, right? Going on movement, not on sound, lining up correctly, getting in the huddle, getting the play, having a sense of urgency where we don't have delay of games. So those are completely within our control. So I think those would be the 2 big things, in order to win, start by not beating yourself, right?
Yeah.
And, and you can't go, broke making a profit unless you're spending more. But like, it's the fundamentals of business. It's the fundamentals of competing in sport, right? You can't beat yourself, before you're going to win. And I think we've been in that boat a little bit the first couple of weeks of beating ourselves.
Yeah, no, just to add to what you're saying, the 5-yard penalties are pre-snap penalties.
Exactly.
And that's where you're saying, hey, you beat yourself because the opponent hasn't even done anything, but it's a penalty on you. And so, to clean that up.
It's pre and post snap, right?
Yeah,
that's the ones you really gotta work on is, and I call them 5s and 15s because the pre and the post snap, those are within our control, right? What happens within the play sometimes, like I said, a DPI, being aggressive, a holding, being aggressive. Now, if it's a lack of technique or trust in your fundamentals or technique, that's one thing. But if you're being aggressive and the ref judges it as a penalty, we can live with those, right? It's inside and outside of our control, right? And sometimes we're worried about the wrong stuff and things that are outside of our control. If we could just control the controllables, we'll be in a really, really good position.
Do you get the sense the guys are eager to get back on the field? It's got to hit that feel a little bit like camp, or you haven't been able to play for a while. So
no, and particularly today, the energy in Lubbers Stadium. On Thursdays we practice in Lubbers, and there was quite a bit of energy. Quite a bit of energy. Yeah, I think we're ready.
Yeah. Well, the Lakers, a familiar opponent, Davenport. Again, the Panthers 2-1, coming off a win already on the road in league play, and coming in hungry and ready to go. I mean, last year, it was a kind of back and forth. First quarter, the second quarter you blew it open, but then the second half neither team could score.
No,
basically.
And you go back and you watch that game, and it's kind of the things we're talking about. Offensively moved the ball really well, could not score in the red zone, right? And we got to that point where it was, I think, a 17-point game at one point, and it's the 3-score game. 24-7, whatever it was. Yeah, so it was a 3-score game. It was 17 points, and we'd get down in the red zone, and a field goal doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
20 points is you still got to score 3 touchdowns, right?
Yep.
17 points gets you to that, 2 touchdowns, 2-point conversions, right? So you're always looking for that 17th point. That's what you're after, right? That's the 3-score game, and then you're looking for the 25th point. So we're going to go for it because 20 doesn't do anything for you, right? And extremely frustrated in that game of, moving the ball down there, getting in scoring position. And then defensively, they had a drive, and then they popped about a 25-yard run, misfit in the secondary. You take a look at that game and you see 24-7, okay, but it could have been much different, right?
Yes,
it could have been much different, and I think we lacked a little bit of that, take that next step last year, and we've got to develop that this year.
All right. Well, Grand Valley and Davenport, it's Family Day Saturday at Lubbers Stadium, 4:00 kick. When we come back, the Berger Chevrolet key to the win. Scott will tell us that next as we wind down the GVSU Football Weekly Report, presented by Berger Chevrolet and the Grand Valley Sports Network. Yeah, we're back one final time here in the show. Family Day Saturday, 4 o'clock kick. Leave a little extra time for your travel and getting organized there coming in. A lot of people on campus for Family
and
Day.
Lake Michigan.
What's that?
And Lake Michigan Drive.
Yes.
See a lot of people.
Yeah, you're gonna if you think you're gonna do the normal travel schedule, like whatever you would take for a home game, it's gonna be backed up. So that's just how it is.
You got to come early.
Yeah, got to come earlier. All right. So, what is the Berger Chevrolet key to the win here, Coach?
No, and I think you hit it perfectly, Steve. Is both teams coming off a bye week, and I think that it's the execution combined with the energy, right? And the excitement. 16,000. Joe's out here right now. Got this thing packed out. How many do you think we're going to have, Joe? 15 plus, 15,000 wearing all blue, running out of that smoke, and just the excitement, the energy. Yes, you need that, but the execution along with it, right? And the focus, directing that energy towards your alignment, your assignment, your technique, your fundamental, your job on that play, and I think that will be a key. That'll be a key because Davenport will be the same way, right? Coming into Lever Stadium, they always play their best football here and against us, like you referenced earlier, and so whoever controls and manages that the best, right? I think, and the start will be big in this one as well.
Yeah, Grand Valley against Davenport, as those teams both 2-1 on the year, and yeah, you're right. They not having played in a while. Everybody's going to be excited and ready to go. That's right, absolutely. All right, that'll do it for us tonight. Big thank you to tight ends coach Scott Cooper for stopping by. Tight end Luke Stanton as well. Great to hear from him. Hope you'll join us over at Lubbers Stadium, 4 o'clock the kick. If not, you can listen here in the Grand Valley Sports Network. That'll do it for us tonight. For head coach Scott Wooster, I'm Steve Lloyd-Jones. Thanks for listening to the GVSU Football Weekly Report on the Grand Valley Sports Network.